Man, this one just about the black church, right? A real, just quick synopsis. Um, Granted, no man is perfect, right? But here's something I'm noticing: the lack of humility, the lack of, or this seemingly spirit, if you will, of social acceptance and fleecing of the flock. Whether it's Creflo Dollar, TD Power Bottom Jakes, Jamal, can someone please pass the peas, Bron? You know what I'm saying? Like all these super duper guys, or what's the other? It's a bunch of them out there, or like these kind of mega church. You know what I'm saying? None of these dudes are even masculine. Yeah, they all got that zesty spirit. You know what I'm saying? They all smack their lips when they talk, or they walk kind of, you know what I'm saying, like they a bad bee. And now, from my understanding, like even like years ago, I went to North Carolina, Greensboro, uh, just about 13, 14 years ago, right? Which is considered in the Bible Belt. And they said, and when I did my research, just going around the town, they said Greensboro has the most churches, like per square mile in the United States. So I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So I'm, ingratiate myself to the environment and, checking out the lay of the land. And I noticed something very profound, right? Um, in the black churches I would go to, I would say damn near 80% of the congregants were women, right? And the other 15% was in the pulpit. And it was like the other 5% were like dudes who were, I wouldn't call them, flip floppity, but I would say they were just prone to following people without any critical thought on their end, right? And the rest of the dudes in the pulpit. I would have maybe like the choir or something like that. It was just very glaring to me. I went to this one church of the son of a mega preacher, right? Um, he actually had a church right beside where I was, going to treatment at, which was more geared for like the college age kids that went to like A&T or whatever. And I seen them filing out after the service, and it was like five dudes who were all, I guess, with the pastor's son in his circle, and and it was like 40 to 50 college age females coming out the joint. I said, "Wow, the numbers are off here, ain't they?" Oh, here's another one, and the mega church guy, he was a good teacher, right? No diggity, no doubt. But no matter what sermon he was on, he could shift it into money right before he ended the sermon. Now it's offering time. Every time he would do it, it was another brother that in Greensboro. He's from Atlanta, and every time he'd do it, we would just look down the pew at each other. And he had the people hook, line, and sinker. Yes, pastor. Yes, say that, pastor. Yes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But from my experience or just observation, when the church is that big, they can't really individually help people. It's more of a business at that point, and I just don't understand it. Like, and they'll have like these various ministries, singles ministries, which don't be for the purpose of building up scriptural marriage. It be the leadership attempting to handpick these relationships for the benefit or the look of the church. Like these people look good together for the image we're trying to portray. Y'all should get together, and you have my blessing, my son, my daughter. You know what I mean? But it don't have nothing to do with them. I went to church one time. This is the last time I was actually like going under my own volition, right? And I was going to this church because of friends of mine, so I started going, right? Now the friends that I'm going with, they had just recently split up prior to me getting back into the area. So my homeboy was living with his sister who had came up from Louisiana, and I was living with the wife and their children and their children or whatever. Well, not like that, of course. So I started going to church, right? So my partner actually he had a lawsuit because he used to work on a trash truck and something happened or whatever. So he had some money coming to him. So the pastor knows this, tells him, you're shacking up, do. So he be obedient. He moves in with his sister to separate him because he was trying to hook him up with his daughter or stepdaughter who had fallen on hard times. And they ultimately ended up getting married, but of course they're not married no more. Got a kid. He went back to Louisiana, and she wherever she at with it. You know what I mean? Um, but in the midst of all this, the wife, nobody spoke to her in the church. You know what I mean? And I'm saying all this, I'm like, but she would still go, I guess, to maybe keep tabs or something. And then ultimately, she just got Bucky loose and was, you know, rimming and rambling, and you know what I'm saying? It was just a sad state of affairs that they, and I know a lot of people, or if you hear about these various stories, like with the Power Bottom man, where they be having these boys be saying they went on the church convention and they, just like the same thing came out with Martin Luther King, they go on to church and it's just a freaky deaky, everybody just plugging each other up. Who want to go to that? Not the kid. And I don't want you to teach me nothing. Now, granted, I'm a little more mature enough to I can take the meat and spit out the bones in the sense of, okay, I can separate the message from the messenger, but I'm not going to follow the messenger if I don't see you living it, or at least attempting to. Or when you're wrong, come out and with humility and say, I messed up. Here's what I'm going to do to rectify it. You know what I mean? I think that's real leadership. But again, in the black community, we don't have no real leaders, or our leaders are picked and chosen for us by outside force and propped up with social validation and finance to lead the folk astray, like your Al Sharptons, your Jesse Jacksons, and you know what I'm saying? Every time black people, here he come. Man, why invite you, cuz? What is you doing here? You know what I mean? They quick to show up. But that's just a quick one on just, and then they don't hold the women accountable. I think, you know what I mean, TDJ, I guess he had lost, we said something about just in reference to black women being held accountable. Oh, no, we don't want to hear that. And then since most of the congregants are women anyway, he gonna lose the tithing, which ain't scriptural. So all that going out the window. Man, it's like it's almost time to come out of everything, cause ain't nothing, especially here in Babylon, ain't nothing to grace yourself with, cause you ain't gonna do nothing but get led astray. Or if you start asking certain questions, or you know having your own mind, you ain't gonna do nothing but get blackballed, and everybody gonna point the finger at you. You know the people pointing the finger at you committing all these indiscretions. But that's all I got, man. I gotta get ready for work.